Hi everybody, Paul Cameron here from SpeedUpMyJobSearch.com with some job search tactics and motivation for today. Have you ever experienced a panel or a group interview before where they have like 3, 5, or 7 people all in the room at the same time just to interview with you? I know that can seem like a scary situation to some people, but really they're not as bad as you might think. And today I'm going to give you 3 quick tips that will help you to do well in your next panel interview. And if this video is helpful for you, I would invite you to please click that like button so more people in your network can find it. I really appreciate your help with that. Also, if you need even more help with your panel interviews or phone interviews or even lunchtime interviews where you're meeting with an employer over a meal, I cover how to approach all 3 of these types of interviews in detail in my program at SpeedUpMyJobSearch.com. Each one of those interviewing situations present unique opportunities to set yourself apart from the other candidates if you know what you're doing. So if you want better results from these types of interviews, please go check out SpeedUpMyJobSearch.com today. It will help you. So first, rather than letting yourself get all nervous about the fact that so many people are going to be all in the room at the same time blasting questions at you, understand that all of those people have rearranged their schedules to meet with you. They're not doing that for everybody, right? That's hard to do, to coordinate 7 different schedules of people to be in one place at the same time. So the first tip is to acknowledge that to the group at the very start of the interview. Just a very quick, hey, before we get started here today, I just want to say thank you to all of you for rearranging your schedules to meet with me today. I know that couldn't have been easy, so I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate that. Now, any other candidates that they're interviewing for this position are likely going to be walking into that meeting only thinking about themselves and what they are going to say because they're so full of nerves, right? But if you walk in focused on them and the sacrifice that they made to be there and meet with you, you're going to immediately start to distinguish yourself from everyone else right from the start of the interview. Now, second, be very intentional about memorizing names. Before you tell me, I'm just not good with names, you know what? Nobody's naturally good with names. It takes practice and intention. But anybody can do it if they want to. And then call everyone by name as you're leaving the interview. Now, they may not say anything at the time, but they're going to notice because they, like you, feel that they aren't very good with names. Now, my third tip is just about getting feedback during the interview, because it's always harder to get feedback about how you're doing when you're talking to a group of people. So I'll share with you a little trick that I learned as a public speaker. And I've been giving presentations in front of groups of all sizes for 25 years now, believe it or not, to groups the size of maybe 3 people to my largest was a little over 3,000 people. But regardless of the size, it's just essential for me to know what my audience is thinking, for me to be able to get feedback about how I'm doing, that they're understanding my message while I'm talking. So the way that I find out is through a very simple gesture that I'm using while I'm making my point. And this is going to work for you too if you use this during a panel interview. The gesture is a very simple head nod, like I'm answering a question, yes, non-verbally by nodding my head. And I do this as I'm making my point or when I'm using a tie down. And if you're not familiar with that term, just go to my YouTube channel and look for the video about how to get promoted. And in that video, I explain what a tie down is and how to use it. But as I'm nodding my head, yes, if they're with me, they're going to start nodding along. If they're not, they won't, right? And I don't know if there's anything more to this than just monkey see, monkey do, but really, this really works, right? I've been using this for decades, and it's always been a great indicator for me. So here's how you can use this during an interview. Now, let's say, for example, I'm interviewing for a sales position, right? And they ask me, what's the most important part of a sales call? Well, I'd say that, it's always easier to make a sale when you've figured out exactly what the customer needs, right? So for me, asking good questions has always been the most important part of my sales calls. Right? And as you see, I'm nodding my head yes while I'm answering. And it's not a big, vigorous nod, right? It's just a very slight nod as if to say, yep, what I'm saying is true. Please agree with me. Right? Try this on somebody today. You're going to see this really does work. Again, I'm Paul Cameron. I'm from SpeedUpMyJobSearch.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel here. You're going to get all these videos as they come out. Or go to drivestaff.com/motivate and you can have these emailed to you every week. And remember, for panel interviews, acknowledge their time, memorize their names, and get confirmation. You can do this. Now, it's time to get to work.